What's good, guys? It's Aida, aka Aida Find Me, and I am back with a highly requested video. So it seems like most of you guys want to know what kind of books I'm into, especially after that video I made on mental slavery. I am going to mention that book in this video. People wanted to know what other books I read and what other books I would recommend. So here I am telling you guys what my top 5 books are currently. I think I'm going to start off with probably the most known book, which is, of course, the Autobiography of Malcolm X. This one was written with the assistance of Alex Healy. It is the most common one that you will get. I'll just read to you what the blurb says. It starts with, they called him the angriest black man in America. Malcolm X is one of the 20th century most controversial figures. My book is damaged. Can you see that? The flip! Celebrated and vilified the world over for his courageous but bitter fight to gain for millions of black men and women the equality and respect denied them by their white neighbours. He inspired as many people in the United States as he caused to fear him. Malcolm X earrings. Just saying. Malcolm X's remarkable autobiography, completed just before his murder in 1965, ranges from Omaha and Michigan to Harlem and Mecca, and tells of a young, disenfranchised man whose descent into drug addiction, robbery and prison was reversed only by his belief in the right struggle for Black America and the conversion to the Nation of Islam. Not only is this one of the fundamental texts of the 20th century civil rights movement, it is also the fascinating story of a man who refused to allow anyone to tell him who or what he was. Yes, Brother Malcolm. And for all you guys that ask me where I get my earrings from, because I do get a lot of comments about my earrings. I do get them from maroondaughter.com. I don't know if she's actually still making them. She did tell me that she wants to stop making earrings. I don't know why, because I personally, in most of my videos, you see me wearing her earrings, and I haven't really bought much new earrings since, so I'm basically just wearing the same earrings. Because I'm a very, very picky earring wearer. Anyways, book number 2, Half of a Yellow Sun. If you guys have not read the book but have watched the film, shame on you, okay? Shame on you. I tried to watch the film, but I just couldn't do it because it just did not give the story the justice that it deserves. Reading the book, right, this is by the way, it's by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The thing that I find amazing about the book is the fact that she can just switch between characters and surroundings so seamlessly. Like, one chapter she'll be here, the next chapter she's there with this character, and in your head it just flows. But the way that the film does it, it just doesn't do it justice. Definitely, I would say read this book. It is amazing. I told my boyfriend to read it and he loved it as well. I'll read the blurb to you. In 1960s Nigeria, a country blighted by civil war, 3 lives intersect. Ugwa, a boy from a poor village, works as a houseboy for a university lecturer. Olana, a young woman, has abandoned her life of privilege in Lagos to live with her charismatic new lover, the professor. The third is Richard, a shy Englishman enthralled to Olana's, this is a tongue twister, enthralled to Olana's enigmatic twin sister. Oh damn it, I just remember what happened. You know when you haven't read the book in ages, but reading the blurb just brings back everything. Oh my god. When the shocking horror of the war engulfs them, their loyalties are severely tested as they are pulled apart and thrown together in ways that none of them imagined. It's mad, okay? I learned so much about Nigerian civil war, and it's just one of those books that just hook you. Like, definitely read Half of a Yellow Sun and do not watch the film. Thank you. The next one is the Falsification of African Consciousness. I have done a video on this. If you have not seen my mental slavery video, go look at it, because I basically quote the book, go into a lot more depth about what it says. It's basically about the mental slavery that we face as people from Africa, and I should read the whole title properly, shouldn't I? The Falsification of African Consciousness, Eurocentric History, Psychiatry and the Politics of White Supremacy. Mad. By Amos N. Wilson. Unfortunately, just like Malcolm X, Amos passed away, but not in the same circumstances, obviously. So let me just read to you the blurb is a lot longer. So, and the words are a lot bigger. Okay, so you know, bear in mind that might struggle. Okay. This book contains 2 groundbreaking lectures by Amos Wilson. The first, European Historiography and Oppression Exposed, an African Perspective and Analysis, was among the first contemporary which delineated the role Eurocentric history writing plays in rationalizing European oppression of African peoples and in the falsification of African consciousness. That was a big sentence, and I don't think I quite got that. It explicitates why we should study history, how history writing shapes the psychology of peoples and individuals, how Eurocentric history as mythology creates historical amnesia in Africans in order to rob them of material, mental, social and spiritual wherewithal for overcoming poverty and oppression. Moreover, this engrossing lecture fully exposes the relationship between the rediscovery and rewriting of African history and achievement of liberation and prosperity by African peoples. The second lecture, Eurocentric Political Dogmatism, its relationship to the mental health diagnosis of African people, advances the contention that the alleged mental and behavioural maladaptivities of oppressed African peoples is a political economic necessity for the maintenance of white domination and imperialism. Furthermore, it indicts the Eurocentric mental health establishment for entering into collusion with the Eurocentric political establishment to oppress and exploit African peoples by officially sanctioning these egregious practices through its misdiagnosis, mislabeling and mistreating of African people's behavioural reactions to their oppression and their efforts to win their freedom and independence. Boom! Yeah. So I remember when I first started reading this book that I really liked one of the sentences, and I'm sure if I can find it now, I will still feel the same way. To manipulate history is to manipulate consciousness. To manipulate consciousness is to manipulate possibilities, and to manipulate possibilities is to manipulate power. Say no. Read this book and watch my video on it because I go into a lot more depth. So the last 2 books I am super excited to tell you about because they have a very special feature. Autographs. A Taste of Power, A Black Woman's Story by Elaine Brown. Guys, I saw Elaine Brown in person. I went to one of her talks last year and I was so in awe of her. I was just like, because I was reading the book and I was like, I gotta go there. I think I saw it randomly on Instagram as well. I told myself, I've got to go there and I've got to get an autograph. Whatever happens, she has to sign my book. And guess what? She signed my book. And I could not understand what on earth it said. Look at this. With a lot of deciphering and, you know, picking at it and getting people to help me figure out what on earth it says, we finally decided upon this. For my sister Aida, she was really excited about my name as well. She knew someone called Aida. I almost forgot what it said. Wild and Revolutionary Love, Elaine Brown. And then she put the date. She's like, do you want the date on it? And I was like, I don't mind. She's like, trust me, one day it will be very valuable to you. I said, okay. Put the date on it, but obviously she put it in her American way. So it says 12/3/16, which I believe, I remember it was in December, not in March. So it was the 3rd of December 2016 that I saw her. And this book, my friends, basically walks you through her life, how she started off as a young girl passing as white pretty much, thinking that she was white, and then how she grew up and was a bit wild, very wild. Then she joined the Black Panther Party, and it talks about all the killings that happened and her friends that were shot and what happened with her family and her children. It's really interesting insight into the Black Panthers, especially from a woman's perspective. So this one hasn't got a blurb, it just has reviews on the back, but I'll just read to you what the reviews say. A superb achievement. Finally, I understand what the Black Panthers were all about. Very true. They were bold, daring, and beautiful. And so is A Taste of Power. Next one. What Elaine Brown writes is so astonishing. At times, it is even difficult to believe she survived it. And yet she did, bringing us that amazing light of Black woman's magical resilience. In the gloominess of our bitter despair, she became the chairman of the Black Panthers, if you guys didn't know. So, definitely, look, seriously, you have to read this book. If you, like me, watched The Vanguard of a Revolution and you wanted to know more about the Black Panthers, definitely read this book. Elaine told me, no, she didn't tell me. When at the talk that I went to, Elaine said that she did not like the film, even though I loved it, but she said that it wasn't a correct depiction of Huey Newton and the Black Panthers. So if you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, don't watch it, but do watch it because it's really good, but it's not truthful because the person that was actually living it said it wasn't very truthful. The last one, guys, I don't think many people know about this one, and that's because it's written by a British author for once. So, Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. This book right here. It's a 3-part series. I read it when I was a teenager, and I cried when I was a teenager. I read it again recently, and I cried again recently. This book takes you through all kinds of emotions. A book that really makes you question things. Basically, what it is that there are noughts and there are crosses. Noughts are white people, crosses are black people. The noughts are lower in society. They had been enslaved. They are the ones that are basically seen as the low of the low. And the blacks are the people that are above. It makes you really read it and you're questioning things. There was one line I remember where they talk about a plaster, and I think the white boy needed a plaster, but he said it stands out because all the plasters were made to be the same colour as the crosses. They were all dark brown. And then I was thinking to myself, plasters, band-aids for my American friends, are all beige. Why are they beige? Because white people are beige. Mind blown. So Callum is a nought, an inferior white citizen in a society controlled by the black crosses. Sefi is a cross, and the daughter of one of the most powerful, ruthless men in the country. Oh yeah, let me just mention as well, this is based around the time where hanging still happened, where people, what was that? You know when that picture was taken when the integration just started in America? I think this is based in England though, but when integration just started and there was a picture of the girls walking to the school, the black females walking into the school, and then you can see people behind them shouting and like trying to fight them. That was based around that time. Okay, so in their hostile, violent world, noughts and crosses simply don't mix. But when Sefi and Callum's childhood friendship grows into passionate love, they're determined to find a way to be together. Some Romeo and Juliet-ish, man, but it is nuts, okay? And she is bringing it to the BBC as a series. This book that I read in secondary school is going to be on TV, and it's amazing. When I met her, she was like, "How did you find the book?" And I said, "Why did you do that to me in the book? Why? Why did you make me cry? Miss Blackman, why?" But yeah, definitely have a read. For me, I always find the first book in the series the most, best. So I don't really want to move on to the second or third. Just definitely read this one. If I do end up rereading the second or third one, I will definitely do a video on it and tell you guys how I feel about the series as a whole. But yeah, it's just amazing. It just says, "To Aida, love, Mallory Blackman," on the 8th of April 2017. Yeah. So these are my top 5 books. So this is what I'm currently reading. Black and British, A Forgotten History by David Olusoga. He is a mixed-race British man, half Nigerian, half white. And he basically had documentaries on the BBC. I don't know if I've ever mentioned them. I mentioned them in my Africa vs. the Caribbean video that nobody really understood, okay? Nobody understood the video. But what it was about Britain's involvement in the slave trade. But anywho, so the documentaries are really, really good. And when I saw someone on the tube reading this book, this hefty book, I said, Ida, we need to get it. So I got it and I've been reading it. And this, I have a feeling, is definitely going to be on my top 10 books. I need to get him to sign it. He's my next person. Him and Chimamanda, I need to get to sign my books. Once I finish reading this, I will let you guys know all the information that I've learned. The BBC basically had a Black and British time, I think was it around Black History Month? Maybe around Black History Month, where they showed lots of stuff to do with being Black and British. And it was really, really interesting. If you can find any of them online, then definitely do. There might be some on YouTube. If I find some, I will link it down below. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. You got some type of insight, you know, give yourself some books to add to your reading list. I will give you guys another update once I read more books. I have loads of books here to read, like loads, and I just need to have time to read them. And when my list changes and updates, maybe I've got a top 10, maybe another top 5, I'll let you guys know. But until then, guys, peace, love, and light.